Hey guys, thank you for checking out my video and welcome to my channel. Sorry about the background, it's a little cluttered, but I really don't have a space where I can film. My room is really tiny, so I have to work with what I've got, and this is what I've got. Um, by the title of this video, you probably know what this video is going to be about. It's going to be about my pre-op, mostly my pre-op surgery and a little bit post-op. I had my surgery on the 15th of February, which was last week. It's been 5 days. It's February 20 now. So I don't really have much to say in regards to that. But I do have a lot to say about pre-op and kind of give some advice to people that are looking for videos on YouTube about VSG surgery. So let's get right into it. I met with my nutritionist several times. It was a group setting. And she spoke about the pre-op diet multiple times. And honestly, guys, I did not stick to the pre-op diet. And I'll get into that a little bit later. So, when I first started my journey, like my doctor's appointments and things like that, I was 251 pounds. And I lost about 5 pounds. I was like 245, 246 around there. And then right before my surgery, I weighed myself on the 14th of February and I was 256.8, I believe. So I gained about what? How much is that? 246, 46, about 10 pounds. I don't know why that was so hard for me. I gained about 10 pounds. Um, let's go into my pre-op diet. So, everyone's pre-op diet, it's kind of the same, I believe, from what I've seen on videos. Uh, but it's a little bit different depending on the center or the hospital that you're going to. So, for my hospital, our pre-op diet was you were supposed to start it 2 weeks before your surgery, and it was 2 protein shakes to replace 2 meals per day, and then one protein rich meal that you could eat, a regular meal, um reg- just food that you could eat, as long as it was like protein rich and had veggies and things like that. They were really pushing that. Um, and it didn't matter how you changed it. You could have done breakfast and dinner protein shakes, or lunch and dinner protein shakes, and breakfast regular food. Um, as long as you were drinking 2 protein shakes a day to replace your meals. And they wanted us to use isolate whey protein powder. They stressed not to use pre-made protein shakes. And I know I have a friend that did their VSG surgery like a month before I did mine, and they were doing the pre-made protein shakes, and their doctor was fine with that. But my doctor was not okay with it. The nutritionist was not okay with it. They were like, you have to get the protein powder and make your own protein shakes. Um, so that's what I did. I got the protein powder, and it was supposed to be 25 grams of protein per scoop, which I got. I think the protein powder that I have is 24 grams per scoop, but it's and 3 grams of sugar. So it's supposed to be very, very low on sugar. And then you had to replace all your liquids, either drink water, just water, or diet juices. So or 0 calorie juices. So like Crystal Light, like flavored water type drinks, like Crystal Light, you could drink. Um, you could drink a diet Snapple, diet cranberry juice. You know what you know the diet juices. You could drink those. Um, that had no sugar, that were sugar free. Um, and that was from the beginning of the whole process. Not just pre-op, 2 weeks pre-op. But I really want to concentrate a little bit on the 2 weeks pre-op. So I I did not follow the diet, guys. Obviously, I gained weight, so I didn't follow the diet. And to backtrack a little bit, the diet is supposed to primarily, the primary goal of the diet, which is what the dietitian stressed and my surgeon stressed, was to decrease the size of my liver. So it would be easier to get to my stomach. That was the primary goal of this pre-op diet, was to decrease the size of the liver, and also to kind of get into a new lifestyle change where you were not going to be eating the foods that you would typically were eating, you know, prior to joining the program. Sorry, guys, if I pause or anything. And I have my blanket here because I'm freezing. But I'm trying to keep this short so people can watch this and kind of get an idea of what to expect. So I didn't follow my. Sorry, guys, I'm burping. Excuse me. And I'll get a little bit into that, the burping stuff. So I didn't follow my pre-op diet. I didn't realize I had an addiction to food. But once it got to those 2 weeks of prior to my surgery, I was binging on every day. I was binging every single day. I would not deprive myself of anything. If I saw something and I knew I shouldn't eat it, I would not deprive myself of it. I would still eat it. And I started to hide food. I live with my family. I started to hide food because I was embarrassed at the amount of food that I was eating. Because I don't eat throughout my whole life, I've always eaten small portions. Always been big, a big girl. But all my meals were small portions. It's just that, they were heavy in carbs and things like that. So that's why they weren't super healthy. But I don't eat large portions. So I didn't think I had a problem with food at all. And I knew about binging, and I knew about um food addiction, but I didn't realize that I had a food addiction until my 2 weeks of pre op. Like I said, I was binging on everything, sweets. I was hiding food from my family. I was eating a lot more than I would typically eat for a meal, like a lot more. Like my portion sizes were bigger than they've ever been before. And my family kept telling me, oh, like, once you get the surgery, you can't be eating like this, or enjoy it now. And those comments really didn't help because they just pushed me into self satisfying myself, and continue on this binging train. Um, yeah. I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. Um, so yeah, I didn't know I had a food addiction at all throughout my life. And now I'm realizing that the reason why I've been obese, morbid obese throughout my life, is because I had an addiction to food. And I just realized this. I feel so stupid because I just realized this. Um even though prior to my 2 weeks post pre-op, even though I throughout my life I ate small portions, I would snack a lot. Um I was always eating sweets or chips. Um I never gravitated towards eating healthy foods. I felt gratification every time I ate something. Um, I felt happy every time I ate something, joy, kind of like a high, like a person who's addicted to alcohol or drugs, a satisfaction. I felt that with food. Um, but I guess it was subtle, so I didn't realize that I had this problem until I had to change my diet because I was changing a part of my body and it would be irreversible. So I binged pre op, gained weight, but I stayed within the 10-pound limit that my insurance has. So because I was 251 when I started the program, I couldn't go over 261 or my insurance would deny my surgery. But I didn't go over 261, thankfully. So I was able to get my surgery. And just to mention, my highest weight has been 262. And in 2022, I lost 40 pounds, but I um, was diagnosed with a mood disorder, and I had to start taking medications. And the medications that I was taking increased my appetite, and I gained all the weight that I had previously lost back. Um, and that was kind of, I felt unmotivated to make a lifestyle change after that. Anyways, so how did I find out that I had a food addiction, and how can you find out if you have a food addiction? So the first thing was I was binging pre-op because I was like, okay, I got to eat all this food. I got to eat whatever I set my eyes to that's food related. I have to eat it because I won't be able to eat it after my surgery. That was the first clue that I had a food addiction. Um but I still didn't realize it. I realized that I had a food addiction post-op. It's only been 5 days. So this discovery is new. So what I noticed, when I really noticed this, I didn't follow my diet pre-op, but my family has been very supportive, and I am and I have been following my post-op diet, which is 2 weeks of clear liquids, protein shakes. Um, I can eat gelatin, sugar-free gelatin. I can eat sugar-free yogurt that's not whole milk, skim milk. And I can drink my protein shakes and drink clear chicken broth, um, vegetable broth, things like that. I've been sticking to that, and I've it's been hard. It's it's been difficult. That losing weight, even though you have VSG surgery, isn't easy because you change your anatomy, and now you have to eat differently. You can't make excuses. You can't have a cheat day. You know what I'm saying? You can't have a cheat day. You can't you can't be like you were before. Okay, I started this diet and I fell off. Let me try it again. Let me pick up where I left off. Once you have this surgery, you can't do that. Um because you literally change the anatomy of your body. But my family has been very, very supportive, and I think that's super important. They are considerate when they're eating foods around me that I can't eat. And, they praise me when I'm eating or drinking what I'm supposed to be consuming. Um, and they're helping me stay on track. So I'm really grateful for that. Um, but let's get into when I realized I had a food addiction. So I found myself on my phone constantly scrolling through websites, basically window shopping on Sephora, Ulta, Beautylish, Amazon. I had this itch to buy something, to spend money, because I was not getting gratification from food anymore. I couldn't, because I'm following this diet. I'm not diet, this lifestyle. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. I'm following this lifestyle. I'm not getting gratification. I don't have a crutch anymore. So I noticed that I was doing this, and I asked my sister. I think didn't ask her, but I told her. She's a psychologist. And I told her, look, I'm buying stuff that I don't need. And she's like, why would you buy something that you don't need? Because with my mood disorder, when I have my manic episodes, I have very low impulse control. So I'm trying to explain this very simple terms and things like that, so you can understand and not overcomplicate things. And she would be talking to me, or we would be spending time together, and I would be on my phone just looking at stuff to buy, to purchase, looking at the money that I had in my account, ignoring what she was saying or doing. And she would tell me, or I would tell her, like, I'm still shopping. And she would be like, I know, I can tell. I've been watching you. So then one day, or one evening, I was in her room spending time with her, and I was like, okay, good night. She was like, erase everything that you have in your shopping carts and do not buy anything. Go to sleep and do not buy anything. And I was like, okay. I'm not going to buy anything. I went to bed, and then the next day, I didn't buy anything, but the next day I was still doing the same thing, was scrolling, was adding things to my cart, put my credit card or my debit card information, put everything. All I had to do was click the submit button. You know what I'm saying? And it was for a large amount of sum of money. I was potentially about to spend a lot of money that I didn't have, that I needed to save, because I just started work and I have bills to pay, and I'm already on a leave of absence because of my surgery. So I go to her and I talk to her, because I have this realization. And I tell her, I think I might be having a manic episode. But it's not full blown, because I'm somehow able to control myself. And I'm on the edge, guys. I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge. I'm just one click away from making terrible decisions, literally. And she was like, "Okay, you're right. You're not having a full-blown manic episode because it's not like your previous manic episodes. This one's a little bit different. This time is a little bit different." And I'm like, "Yes, it is." And then I come and I tell her, "I think that I'm substituting not being able to eat food and getting gratification from eating food. And I think I'm substituting it for online shopping or spending money recklessly." And she said, "I think that's exactly what you're doing." So basically, I my food addiction transferred over into a different addiction, which is online shopping for me. But for someone else, it could be alcohol, it could be being promiscuous, um, things like that. It could be different, it shows up different for everyone. But for me, the easiest outlet is online shopping. For someone else, it could be drugs. So there was a transference from food because I can no longer get gratification from food because I'm doing this lifestyle change. I'm sticking to it. I changed my body. I know that if I binge and I eat food that I'm not supposed to be eating, if I don't follow my post op diet, I'm going to vomit, I'm going to be nauseous, I'm going to be hurting myself because my stomach isn't healed, and I'm going to cause damage to myself and be uncomfortable. So I was looking for another outlet to reach gratification. And that's when I realized that I had a food addiction. Because prior to that, I did not spend money for almost 8 months, 6 to 8 months. I was saving everything, every nickel, dime that I had, I saved. And I've never, ever, ever been able to do that in my life because of my mood disorder. But now that I was being treated for my mood disorder, I was able to control my impulses, and I was able to save and not get into more debt. Brain fart. So, yeah. Think about this, guys. If you're having VSG surgery, think about, are you binging? Are you binging pre-op? Are you making the lifestyle change pre-op? Do you gain gratification or satisfaction when you eat? Because yes, eating something, a nice juicy burger. I'm thinking about it right now. And phew, this is hard. um, it sounds good, but yeah, that makes you happy because you have a nice juicy burger. It's not something you eat all the time. So yeah, you're happy about it. But do you feel happy all the time every time you're eating? Do you feel gratification from food every single time you're eating? Sometimes, or most of the times, you should just be eating to satisfy your hunger, not satisfy your brain. Eating to satisfy your stomach, not satisfy your brain. There's a difference. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. This video is longer than I expected it to be, but this is important. So I hope that you're watching this all the way through. Um because if you're thinking about getting this surgery, this is really important. I ate to satisfy my brain, to satisfy a craving, to gain pleasure. Okay? It's like having sex. To get to that peak, food was doing it for me. If you feel that with food, then you have a food addiction. And it's hard to tell if you have a food addiction because you're surrounded by food all the time. You have to eat. People will always be eating around you. People will always try to give you stuff to eat, feed you, cook for you. So you might not realize that you have a food addiction because eating is normal. It's what we eating is a form of survival. I hope this makes sense. So you might not realize that you have an addiction to food. I didn't even realize I had an addiction to food even when I was hiding food away from my family. I still didn't realize that. I'm thinking about it now and I was like, wow, like why didn't I realize it back then? Cuz that wasn't normal behavior for me. Anyways, are you addicted to food? Because if you are, that food addiction after surgery might not go away. There are people that get this surgery and they don't follow the post op diet or I don't want to call it a diet, but week 1 and week 2 diet, which is a liquid diet. They don't follow it. They still eat regular food, chips, slider foods. You know, they call them slider foods, chips, pizza, foods in low calories. Not low calories, but not low calories, but simple carbs. I think that's what it is. Simple carbs. Um and then they throw up and then they get dumping syndrome, which is basically you're throwing up and stuff like that. The food that you're eating, you're just throwing it back up. So if you have a food addiction, you're not, it's going to manifest. You're either going to continue eating the way you were prior or your entire life, and think you think this surgery is just going to be magically make you lose weight. The only thing about it is, yes, your stomach is smaller, so your stomach is smaller, so it takes a lot less food to eat than a normal person for you to feel full. But the cravings don't go away. The hunger doesn't go away. Even when you're not hungry but you're around food and you want to eat it, that desire to eat food, it doesn't go away with this surgery. Let me pause this so I can get back into, I'm having a brain fart. Okay. That was literally 5 seconds. So excuse me, I just burped. This is something that happens pre-op. You're going to be burping all the time. There's going to be so much gas in your stomach. And yeah, you're going to be burping all the time. And it's before, like, burping to me was never uncomfortable. But this, when I burp now, it hurts. Like, when I have gas in my stomach, it hurts. So I have to burp. Even though it's not proper or it's seen as being improper, you know what I'm saying? Now I can't control it. I have to burp because it's painful to me if I don't burp. So yeah, you're gonna either continue your food obsession, food addiction, or your food addiction is going to transfer into a different addiction, a different crutch. You're going to find a different crutch to get the satisfaction that you were getting from food. And like I mentioned before, it could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be sex, it could be lots of things. And it could be something potentially that you can die from. Obviously, with the drugs and the alcohol. And sex too. So you have to be careful. And you have to think about if you really can do this surgery. I'm not telling you not to get it. I got it, and I have a food addiction. What I'm telling you is be aware or think about whether you have a food addiction. You know what I'm saying? Be aware of what you have what you have to deal with. What else do I want to say? And yeah, and your stomach is going to be small. You're not going to eat as much as you were able to eat before. But when you serve yourself food, you're going to be serving yourself, you're going to be eating with your eyes, basically. If you decide not to follow the post op diet week 1 and week 2, you're going to be eating with your eyes. You're going to be serving yourself food or eating food more than, or the amount of food that you were eating before. Not more than, but eating the same amount of food you were eating before and not being able to finish it. And then there are people that can't throw away food. They have to finish what's on their plate. Is that you? Because if it is, it's going to be an issue with this surgery, because you're going to have to face reality. Even though you're hungry, even though, let's say your mom cooks your favorite meal, you're not going to be able to eat as much of it as you could before. So maybe it won't satisfy you as much because you can only eat this little bit of it. Hide behind my covers again. You can only eat this little bit of it, and that's not enough to satisfy you, to gain gratification from food. Or like I mentioned before, you have to clear your plate. And you're gonna stuff this extra food that you don't need, that your stomach is telling you not to consume, and you're gonna throw it up. Or you're gonna cause some sort of blockage. And your stomach is gonna expand eventually throughout the time. I'm pretty sure it would expand more if you're feeding it a lot more than it can handle. Yeah. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about. So this is what I'm going through currently, is a transference. And I'm sure there are articles online about this stuff. I haven't looked into it. This is I'm just posting my personal experience up on here, but I can't be the only person that's gone through this, or that has realized this, or that is going through this. I'm sure other people had the same revelation. So go online and look about, I don't know, Google VSG transference, addiction transference, or something like that. And maybe you'll find other people that are experiencing the same thing that I'm experiencing, which could potentially be something that you're also experiencing. Or maybe you're not experiencing this at all, but you have a friend or a family member that you know got the surgery, and this video might be helpful. Not everybody goes through this. Well, I don't know anybody. I'm not going to say not everybody goes through this because I don't know anybody. I just know about myself going through this. But there must be some people out there that have dealt with this. So just check on your family members or your friends that have had this surgery or are going through this process of this surgery, and be supportive. Support them in a positive way and try to be there for them and help them throughout this journey, just like my family is. I'm doing, it's only been 5 days. I have 2 weeks in total for this liquid diet. It's only been 5 days, but I'm doing well. I haven't messed up, and I'm proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself because I have a food addiction and I'm 5 days sober. It sounds ridiculous. I know it sounds ridiculous. And it sounds ridiculous because I feel like in America, we don't think about food as being addicting. We don't consider the fact that there is food addiction in America. And that's why, what, we're the country with the highest rate of obesity. Yeah, I just realized this for myself, and I hope if you're watching this video that this was helpful to you. And let's figure this out together. I'm 5 days sober, guys. 5 days sober. It's been 47 minutes so far. I'm sorry I've kept you here for this long, but thank you for sticking it through. I hope this was helpful. I hope I made some sense. I'm sorry for the brain farts. It was just a lot of information in my brain. I should have taken down some notes, some points. I'll do better next time. Leave a comment down below if this resonated with you, or if you're going through VSG, and maybe we can support each other. I have an Instagram page where I'm recording or journaling my journey through this. But if you want to follow me on there, it's the same handle as my YouTube. Guanabana. Yeah, on that Instagram page I'm posting my progress. But I'll be checking in here too as well. I don't really have a lot of traction on my YouTube, but I was looking for YouTube videos about VSG, so maybe somebody else will look into it as well. Thank you for watching this far, and if you have watched this far, comment what? A brown heart emoji down below. Or yeah, comment a heart emoji.